Durk Banks, a name that might not have meant much to the world at first, but in the streets of Chicago, it was a name that carried weight. Born and raised in the harsh realities of the South Side, Durk Banks, better known as Lil Durk, found solace in music. It was his escape, his therapy, and eventually his ticket out of the struggle. A name synonymous with Chicago, a city known for its towering skyscrapers and deep dish pizza, but also for its violence and poverty. The duality of Chicago is reflected in Durk's music, a blend of hope and despair, triumph and tragedy, a city steeped in hardship where music offered an escape. For many young men like Durk, the streets were both a battleground and a proving ground. It was here that he honed his craft, turning his pain into poetry, his struggles into stories that resonated with many. Lil Durk, a young man with a voice raw with pain, rose from the streets. His early performances were electric, filled with an energy that could only come from someone who had lived every word he rapped. His authenticity set him apart in a crowded field, his lyrics a reflection of the brutal reality surrounding him. He spoke of poverty, of violence, of the struggle to survive. His words painted vivid pictures of life in the trenches, where every day was a fight to make it to the next, of the struggle to survive. His music resonated. It was more than just entertainment, it was a lifeline for those who felt unseen and unheard. Through his music, Durk gave a voice to the voiceless, shining a light on the dark corners of his city. It was real, raw and unflinching. There was no sugarcoating, no glossing over the harsh truths. This authenticity earned him a loyal following, people who saw their own lives reflected in his verses. Early mixtapes like I'm a Hitter and Signed to the Streets spread like wildfire. These projects were more than just music, they were anthems for a generation. The streets felt him, the industry took notice. A star was born, and Signed to the Streets spread like wildfire. The streets felt him, the industry took notice. A star was born. As his fame grew, so did the expectations and the pressures. But Durk remained grounded, always remembering where he came from and who he was doing it for. Lil Durk, the voice of the streets, was on the rise. His concerts were packed, his songs streamed millions of times. He was no longer just a local hero, he was a national sensation. But with success came new challenges. He carried the weight of his city on his shoulders. Every lyric, every performance was a testament to his journey and the people he left behind. He knew that his success was not just his own, it was a beacon of hope for many. His music, a double-edged sword, it brought him fame, it also brought him scrutiny. The same streets that lifted him up were also quick to pull him back down, but Durk was resilient, using every setback as fuel for his next project. It also brought him trouble. Legal issues and personal losses tested his resolve. But through it all, he remained focused on his music, knowing that it was his true calling and his ultimate salvation. The streets he rapped about were closing in. But Lil Durk's story is far from over. With each new release, he continues to evolve, to grow, and to inspire. His ascent is a testament to the power of music and the resilience of the human spirit. Lil Durk's star power attracted talent. Young artists hungry for recognition gravitated towards him. Only the family OTF was born, a collective of rappers united by their city and their struggles. King Von, a fiery presence with a troubled past, became a key figure. His loyalty to Durk was unwavering, their chemistry undeniable. OTF's music was raw, aggressive. It reflected the harsh realities of Chicago life. They weren't just rappers, they were survivors. Success brought money, fame and power, but it also brought danger. The streets they escaped still haunted them. Fame couldn't shield Lil Durk from his past. Legal troubles began to plague him. Gun charges, attempted murder. The system had its sights set on him. The year 2019, a pivotal moment. Durk and his fiancée, India Royale, faced serious charges, a shooting in Atlanta. Durk, accused of attempted murder. He maintained his innocence. The case dragged on, a dark cloud hanging over his career. The streets watched, his fans waited. The legal battles took their toll. Lil Durk was fighting for his freedom, his future hanging in the balance. Lil Durk wasn't alone in his legal battles. His journey through the legal system was a tumultuous one, marked by numerous challenges and setbacks. His OTF brothers stood by him, a testament to their unwavering loyalty and solidarity. They were more than just friends. They were a family bound by shared experiences and a common struggle. But loyalty in the streets often came at a price. The environment they navigated was fraught with danger and unpredictability. Every decision carried weight, and the consequences were often severe. Co-defendants faced their own charges, each grappling with their own legal battles. The courtroom became a familiar setting, a place where their fates were decided. King Von, a loyal figure in Durk's life, was no stranger to the law. His past haunted him, a constant reminder of the life he led. Despite his success, the shadows of his past loomed large. His lyrics, often a window into his reality, painted a vivid picture of his struggles and triumphs. They were more than just words. They were a reflection of his life and the world he lived in. Von's legal issues escalated, mirroring the chaos that surrounded them. The streets were unforgiving and the stakes were high. Every move was scrutinized and the pressure was relentless. The weight of their collective troubles was immense. The pressure mounted and the future seemed uncertain. Yet, amidst the turmoil, they found strength in their unity and resilience. The line between music and reality blurred. Their art was a reflection of their lives, and their lives were influenced by their art. It was a complex interplay that defined their existence. Their lives were a dangerous mix of fame, loyalty, and the ever-present threat of violence. In the end, it was their bond and their music that kept them going, even in the face of overwhelming odds. The price of fame, beefs, and bloodshed. As Lil Durk's fame grew, so did his list of rivals. The streets of Chicago were a battleground. Beefs escalated, words turned to violence. Chief Keef and GBE, a long-standing rivalry. The tension palpable. Diss tracks fueled the fire. Violence followed. The streets mourned the loss of young lives. The price of fame was steep. Lil Durk, once a voice for the voiceless, was now caught in a cycle of violence. The music industry, often accused of glorifying street life, had blood on its hands. The industry mourns King Von's tragic end. The hip-hop community was left in shock and disbelief. A rising star known for his raw storytelling and authentic voice was silenced forever. His death was not just a loss for his fans, but for the entire music industry. November 6, 2020, a day that will forever be remembered in the annals of hip-hop history. It was the day the world lost King Von, a promising talent whose career was just beginning to soar. A date etched in Chicago's history. King Von, born and raised in the streets of Chicago, had managed to rise above the challenges of his environment. His music was a reflection of his life, filled with tales of struggle, survival, and triumph. King Von, Lil Durk's right-hand man, was gunned down in Atlanta. The news spread like wildfire, leaving fans and fellow artists in a state of mourning. The streets of Atlanta became a somber reminder of the violence that continues to plague the hip-hop community. The news sent shockwaves through the industry. Social media was flooded with tributes and condolences. Fans shared their favorite memories and songs, while artists expressed their grief and disbelief. The loss was felt deeply by all who knew him and his music. The circumstances surrounding his death were murky. Conflicting reports and rumors only added to the confusion. What was clear, however, was that a young life had been tragically cut short. The investigation into his death would reveal a tangled web of rivalries and street conflicts. Rivalries, fueled by social media, spilled onto the streets. A life cut short. A promising career silenced. Lil Durk was devastated. He had lost not just a collaborator, but a brother. The pain of losing someone so close was evident in his music and his public appearances. He had lost a brother, a confidant. The bond they shared was more than just professional. It was deeply personal. The grief was palpable, not just for Lil Durk, but for everyone who had been touched by King Von's music and his story. King Von's death became a turning point. It sparked conversations about the dangers of street life and the impact of violence on the hip-hop community. Fans and artists alike called for change, hoping to prevent such tragedies in the future. The dangers of street life, once confined to lyrics, became all too real. The music industry mourned, but the violence continued. King Von's legacy, however, lives on through his music and the memories of those who loved him. His story serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring impact of art. Echoes of violence, the cycle continues. Lil Durk retreated from the public eye. The weight of loss, the constant threat of violence took its toll, but the cycle of violence was relentless. OTF members became targets. Shootings, arrests and deaths became a grim reality. The streets were unforgiving. The music industry, often criticized for profiting from violence, offered little protection. Each tragedy chipped away at Lil Durk's spirit. The streets he once represented had become a graveyard. The question lingered, would he ever escape the cycle of violence? A legacy tarnished Lil Durk's uncertain future. Lil Durk's career continued, but a shadow hung over him. The trauma of loss, the constant legal battles, left their mark. His music, once a reflection of hope and struggle, now echoed with pain and exhaustion. The future remained uncertain. Could he break free from the cycle of violence that plagued him? Could he find peace amidst the chaos? Only time would tell. His story, a cautionary tale, a reminder of the devastating impact of street violence. Lil Durk's legacy, once filled with promise, now teetered on the edge of tragedy. The streets remember OTF's enduring impact. Despite the losses, the trials and the tribulations, OTF's impact on the music industry cannot be denied. They gave a voice to the voiceless. They told the stories of the streets. Their music, raw and unfiltered, resonated with millions. They became symbols of resilience, of survival against all odds. Their influence undeniable. But their story is also a reminder of the harsh realities of street life. The violence, the poverty, the constant struggle for survival. The legacy of OTF is complex, a mix of triumph and tragedy. The streets remember.